Hello, in this video we're going to show why when you have an M580 hot standby system and using a BMENUA module and also using the read NUA DDT function block to read the status variables for the card, why sometimes when you swap between the primary and the standby PLC, that block is going to stop to work, and how to fix this. So right now we have here a M580 hot standby system. You see that the B is the primary. I can bring in the other control expert here. So, and this one is connected to the A, which is the standby. I only have a single NUA module for this test. So right now it is in the B PLC, which is the primary. So if we look at the block here, and we look at the actual status variable, you're going to see that, well, there's nothing in the A because I don't have a module in there. But you do see that we have some values in the B PLC, and we see that those values are being updated. I can bring in the standby PLC, and we can see that the values are also being updated in here. Here we go. We see the value changing. Okay. Now, for the first test, I'm just going to pull out the NUA module, and I'm going to put it into the A PLC, which is the standby right now. But you're going to see that the values are still being updated, but it's going to be on the A module. So just give me a few seconds here. And here we go. We just need to let the module fully boot. So we see that right now we have neither A or B in both the primary and the standby. We're just going to wait until the module boots up. All right, so now the module has fully booted up, and we see that we are now getting values in for the module that is in the A PLC. So again, this is the primary, and I'm going to bring the standby so they can see the values are also being updated in here. Okay, and inside the block here, we have a read DDT, which is using like a management table. And if we go look at the table, we can see that both blocks right now have their communication function block working correctly. The transaction number keeps updating. We can see the same thing here in the standby, so we can see everything working. So now what we're going to do is we're going to swap the primary and the hot standby, so that the primary becomes the standby becomes the primary. And sometimes what happens is that this communication is going to stop working. So let's try this here. And swap. So at the bottom here, you see that now that the B is standby and the A is run primary. Let's take a look here. And you see now that the block have stopped working. The transaction number is no longer increasing. That's both in the primary and the standby, so nothing is working. And if we go back to the actual variable, you can see that it's no longer updating, and that's the same thing in the now primary. You see that there's nothing moving anymore. So the block have stopped working. The cause of this is that management table is really important, and the fact that right now by default all the data is copied every scan from the primary to the standby. This is kind of causing the issue, because when there's a swap, if the block was in the middle of something, then the standby is going to try to continue where it was, but since it did not initiate the communication itself, it's unable to complete it, and then the transaction is just stuck there, and there's not much to do at this point. You need to basically power cycle the blocks and everything, power cycle the PLC, which is not what we want in a hot standby system. Now, in the help file, they do explain this. So Let me bring the help file here, and they describe this behavior in this here. So let me do this. I'm just going to remove that. Here we go. So it explains here that we need to remove the automatically exchange data on standby for those blocks, and then I'll show you how it's done. So we're going to come back here. Okay, I'm going to grab the primary now, and then we're going to disconnect. This needs to be done offline, unfortunately. And we're going to go to the variables, and then in function block, we're going to find those two instances. So basically, they were called read NU80 DT0, read NU80 DT1. We're going to come in the data editor here. We find, so typically going to be there, but you want to go on function block, and you're going to find this. If you don't see this, you can go to customize columns, and then you're going to see that, and then you can move this higher up or whatever, wherever you want it. So we need to remove this. Yep, confirm the modification and do this as well. Okay, so do this for both of them, and then we're going to build. Okay, and then we're going to connect. Transfer that. Almost there for this one. Let's see, yes. So, and then I'm just going to disconnect here. I'm going to take a shortcut just to connect to the next one. Here, so I'm going to go PLC. I'm going to use the USB connection for the other one. Here, SYS USB. Again. All right, and then I'm going to transfer that. Almost done with this one as well. Click OK. All right, so now we're back with the B in primary, the A standby. So I'm just going to reconnect using the IP address so that I can have both of them at the same time. Connect. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and PLC set address, do D1, connect. I'll have to upload for this one. All right, so let's go back to our tables here. Now, of course, there's nothing on because I need to initialize those blocks, so a period of 2 seconds in here, and then start them again. Here we go. Okay, and then let me. So we see now that the NUA module is still in the A PLC, so this is why we get this here, and then we can see that the transaction number here is constantly changing. That means that works. Now we're going to bring in the standby PLC. Okay, and then I'm just going to go here, and then refine, and just go grab this here. Okay, I'm gonna copy that then so that we can get the other one. And remember when the exchange on standby was on, the transaction number and everything was copied over to the standby. This is no longer the case because we removed that exchange for that whole function DFB. So we don't get that. So the standby is not getting any of those data. But now it still is receiving. So if we go here and then we just grab this and new animation table and then just copy that here. This part is still being copied, okay? So it's still receiving those information. And just to prove it, basically I can, again, I'm just gonna remove the NUA module from the A PLC. And put it into the B PLC. All right, so we're back, and now we can see that the A no longer has value because I moved the card. It's now in the B PLC. This is in the standby. We can see the B value, the information for the module in the B PLC is updating. And if I bring this table here, you're gonna see that now this is also updating. Now, we're gonna again do the swap over and see what's happening now. So let's go here. And then swap. So the swap has been done, and if I bring the table here, we see that this is still updating correctly, and now this is no longer moving because now it's the standby, and then it's not getting the value because it's not the values are not forced being exchanged. Here we still, this is the new primary. We see the values being updated here, and then this one now gets a transaction number updated and everything. And so let's do another swap here. Okay, so that's done. You see that the transaction number no longer updating here. However, this is still working fine. Let's go take a look here. Now we see that the numbers here are moving again. So the primary is doing the communication, and you see the values are working. So this video was to show you what caused the issue of the value stopping to be updated, which is because of the management array for the communication block that is causing an issue when it's being copied over from the primary to the standby. When you do a swap over, there's sometimes this is going to happen. We were lucky to see it on the first go. Sometimes it might take multiple times for it to happen, but it shows you. And also that the fix is to remember to go into the function block here and remove the exchange on standby. Hopefully this has helped you understand this situation. Thank you.